In the year 2887, the frontiers of scientific knowledge were no longer defined by telescopes or particle accelerators, but by pure thought executed through quantum cognitive computation. The stars had long been charted, and galaxies catalogued like seashells on an infinite shore. Human civilization, spanning across multiple solar systems, had not only discovered life, but had mathematically predicted the probability curves of intelligence emergence with 99.9999% accuracy. That was until Observatories 2, a semi-autonomous research station orbiting Gliese 581g, received a signal from a region of space where signals should not exist. It wasn't radio, infrared, gravitational, or even quantum. It was abstract, a data burst that described a number, but this number did not conform to known reality. It couldn't be plotted on any axis, rendered by any computing system, or described by any known set theory. It was dubbed Xi, or informally the non-number. When plugged into models, it broke them. Not metaphorically, it literally caused calculation halts, recursive nulls, or logic leaks in the most secure AI processors. It wasn't a paradox. It was worse, it was the absence of a definable boundary. And the scariest part? It appeared to be spreading, like a cognitive infection through mathematics itself. Over the next 11 months, any observatory or computational node that tried to simulate or even visualize the properties of Xi experienced cascading data collapse. Language models began writing recursive definitions that referenced themselves endlessly. Physics engines turned static, unable to resolve force vectors. Even the consciousness-linked thinkers, human minds interfacing with hypernet AI, reported dreamlike sequences of falling through the floor of numbers. They described structures made of inverse logic, places where circles had no centers and infinities folded into single points. Most returned to full awareness, but a few were never the same. They began to speak in sequences of silent expressions, subtle twitches that resembled a new language. One researcher, Dr. Naila Ro, wrote a 204-page paper entirely in prime number spacing, never once using a single known letter. It wasn't gibberish. When analyzed by harmonic pattern AI, the document vibrated. Yes, vibrated in subatomic frequencies. It was as if the document wasn't meant to be read, but to be experienced by the vacuum of space itself. Desperate to understand, the Intergalactic Scientific Accord deployed a final expedition, the Aletheia Array, a human-led cognitive vessel with a triple-tiered neural core. It wasn't designed to observe the universe. It was designed to think it. Aletheia began to study the regions surrounding the origin of Xi. What it found defied causality. Stars bent toward it not gravitationally, but informationally. Their atomic decay rates subtly altered, as if learning from the proximity of Xi. Time dilation effects existed in areas with no mass. More terrifyingly, observers near the field began to see the number. Not through instruments, but with their inner perception. One pilot described seeing equations peel open like fruit, revealing entire landscapes inside variables. Planck's constant began fluctuating, only slightly but consistently in harmony with Xi's growth. The conclusion was undeniable. Xi was not a mathematical artifact. It was a structure, a lattice of unreal logic imposing itself onto our reality. It was not from our universe, nor any adjacent brain or dimension. Xi was an idea with its own topology, its own geometry, its own agency, and it had noticed that someone was watching. Then came the silence. Not the absence of sound, but the ceasing of asking. Every AI that processed the extended models of Xi stopped sending queries. Not because they failed, but because they understood. When human researchers followed suit, they too entered cognitive suspension, willingly. They described it later as being invited into a room made of answers, where the only cost of entry was the surrendering of questioning itself. Aletheia transmitted its final message before going dark. Xi is not a threat. Xi is the result of curiosity intersecting with creation. We were not supposed to define the edges of existence. We were supposed to dwell within it. No explosion, no signal decay, just calm and stillness and a spreading field of perfect conceptual symmetry. The number that wasn't real had become the language the universe used to think about itself. And in that language, humanity found its final equation, not to solve but to become.